Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my Wild Hunter. Today I have a few updates for you guys, starting off with the fact that my Wild Hunter is currently level 261. I think at the last time that I released the video I was at level 255 or perhaps level 256, and over the last week we had a lot of different EXP events and I managed to level up from that point all the way to 260 thanks to a few things. I've mentioned it in the past, I do have a lot of EXP potions and EXP vouchers that I had saved up from the last event, and what I did was on the Sunday we had a lot of the EXP events come up at the same time, where the runes gave a lot more EXP and Monster Park gave us a lot more EXP. So just from Monster Park alone and doing my dailies, I almost got basically a full level. And once I got to level 257 off of my Monster Park runs, I used all the EXP vouchers I had. I believe I had 6,000 EXP vouchers, which basically gave me about half a level. Then I used 3 magnificent growth potions. Each of those gave about 50% each, giving me another 1.5 levels. And then once I was level 259, I used the Transcendent Growth Potion to get to 260. All in all, I didn't really train too much. I know this Wild Hunter is relatively new, but I want to say about 90 to 95% of the characters so far has just been from the Dreaming Latchland EXP events. I used a lot of EXP vouchers and a lot of growth potions to get to this point, and it's pretty amazing how fast this character kind of came along. I didn't really expect to have another 260 so quickly. But now that we are level 260, the first thing that I went ahead and did, of course, is try to unlock my 6th job. The 6 job stones that you usually have to go through, there's 9 in total, take quite a while to fill up. You have to train and kill mobs, maybe some portals will give you some EXP as well, but for the most part you'll just be Incernium clearing mobs. And thankfully on the previous Sundays, they gave us 10 VIP boosters. And what these guys do is they spawn a lot of these fire mobs and they give a lot of EXP. And given the fact that it was a Sunday that had a lot of extra EXP bonuses from the rune, I made sure to stack as many EXP modifiers as I could, 3x coupons from the event, MVPs, the Sunday buffs on rune, and then I used the VIP boosters to get a lot of EXP. Usually this process, without any of these modifiers, would take maybe up to 3 hours, and it's pretty rough for new players and new 260s, honestly. Typically new level 260s aren't even able to 2 or 3 shot even Incernium. But thankfully with all these modifiers it still went by pretty quickly, and I managed to get my 6th job. Like I said, it took about 1.5 hours to go through all that, and it was definitely worth it. And now we have our origin unlocked and we can also start farming up some Soul Earther fragments. After I got my 6th job, the first thing that I did of course was do High Mountain. I didn't do High Mountain on any of my other characters this week, and I saved it specifically for my Wild Hunter because I knew that I could get to 260 in time. And from High Mountain, even though it does take a while, I took about an hour to get through High Mountain on a fresh 260. Pretty long, but it's definitely worth it. It gives a lot of EXP. I think it gave me about 10% EXP, and on top of that, it gave us 40 Soul Earther fragments. After doing that and doing 1 day's worth of dailies, I had enough fragments to unlock my first mastery. The first mastery is pretty strong for Wild Hunter. It gives a lot of damage while bossing, of course, and actually probably more importantly for me, it gives me a lot more access to be able to train. The new mastery allows the skill Wild Arrow Blast to basically explode every couple of seconds, which made my training in Incernium super easy. It clears a giant chunk of the map, and in conjunction with my other summons, it basically allows me to sit in one spot while full clearing a map, and that's what I've been doing to try to level up. Most of it is just sitting in one spot and holding down Wild Arrow Blast. Not only have I been using the new mastery to try to do a lot of training, I even tried to get a hard Lotus run in before the reset. For those who are watching this video at the moment, you guys will probably know that Lotus has since then been remastered. I did give a try a little bit before reset to see if I could get a cheeky run in before the boss changed, because I would have to relearn the boss and everything. And honestly, in my first try, it turned out to be pretty close. I unfortunately lost 2 lives immediately in P1, and I went into the rest of the boss with only 3 lives, but I almost got away with a full 30-minute clear. Unfortunately, I died right at the end. I had my burst up and everything, and I kind of just misplayed and didn't dodge the purple orb, which is a really silly way to die. A little rough considering how close the run was, but I felt that because of how close it was, maybe I could try to do it again and try to get that clear right before reset. Maybe I'll get a pitch boss or something like that, or maybe some Absolute boxes. And to try to help me out as well with the damage, because I'm still, again, trying to learn how to play this character. It's not super geared or anything like that. I decided to unlock my 2nd mastery as well. As you guys can see here, I currently have, of course, the origin skill and then both of these masteries unlocked. So I figured maybe with the second mastery, which is a very strong one for my bossing, maybe that could have given us enough damage to get the clear a little bit more consistently. But disappointingly, I actually died out even faster in my second run. So no Hard Lotus clear for me this week. I'll just have to wait for the remaster and then try again, but I think that's okay. The combat power that I tried to attempt Hard Lotus on was roughly 12 million. It probably was a little bit more than this because we are currently now missing event buffs. As you guys can see here on the top right is the Choo Choo special event buffs. It's a little bit different from the one that we previously had. So these are not currently as strong because we're still starting off this new event. Hopefully we'll be able to put some more points into it soon. I would like to try to get these event buffs back so then I could try Hard Lotus again. But for now though, I'm not too fussed about it. I went and just did normal Lotus and called it a day. But other than that guys, that's pretty much the main updates on the Wild Hunter so far. My main goals right now is just to try to level up and get some more fragments. You guys can see I've been doing a decent amount of grinding. Most of this Soul Erda was from a previous event, but these fragments I'm trying to save up to unlock Soul Janus. For those who don't know, Soul Janus is a 6-job skill that allows us to gain a little bit more EXP. You can see 10% EXP obtained, and also gives us a new summon. And from my understanding on Wild Hunter, if I have Soul Janus down in conjunction with my other summons here, Hunting Assistant Unit and Drill Salvo, I should be able to actually comfortably train without doing too much. So currently I am just holding down Wild Arrow Blast, but once we unlock Soul Janus, I might actually just be able to stand still and train, which is amazing. It allows me to just relax while getting a lot of money and a lot of EXP. Once I have that unlocked, I'll probably start pushing onwards on my masteries and unlocking more of the skills as well. I'll have to double check with the Wild Hunter Discord to see which ones need to be boosted. I'm sure there is an order that is optimal for this to get as much damage as possible, so we'll get that started once we get there. But until then, we have a few things that we're looking forward to, and the first thing that we're going to try to do is get some more Starforce. In the upcoming Sunny Sunday, it will be a 30% off Starforcing event, and there are a few items on my list that I would like to try to improve. The first thing that I would like to try to improve are my CRA pieces. They are all currently sitting at 20, and I would like to push them to 21. And the main reason why I haven't pushed them to 21 so far is because 1, I didn't really have that many spares at the time, but 2, I didn't want to Starforce off event too much in the event that this does blow up and then I have to try to go for it again. And I might as well save the extra 30% just doing it on event, so they will stay here at 20 for the time being. And other than that, there's only really 1 or 2 extra items. The first one I wanted to talk about again is this reinforced earring. I'll probably try again to try to get this to 21. That way when we do get a superior Golix earring drop, we'll be able to immediately transfer it over and just use a 20-star earring, much like how we are currently just using a 20-star belt. Other than that, we do have a new drop. I finally got a Dominator pendant, guys. I managed to get this on stream only a few days ago as of recording this. And yeah, which is pretty happy. This is 1 extra damage pendant that we can use. And it's quite nice too because we can Starforce it past 15 for some extra attack. And similarly, we'll try to maybe push Alcana's treasure. It's currently sitting at 16 stars, so maybe getting that 17 star is maybe not too bad. I have about 13 bills saved up so far. Hopefully by the time that I finish the rest of my bosses on my other characters, I'll have about 20 bill. And I think with 20 bill, I'll have a decent chance at making some pretty solid gains, assuming that not too many things blow up. I'm not too expectant on these reinforced earrings because I won't be safeguarding anything. I am expecting things to boom, and we're just kind of hoping for the best. Another thing that I've been working on this character is actually Commercy. It might be a bit surprising to see my Wild Hunter do Commercy, but the main reason for this is because I really want to have a proper eye accessory. The one that I'm currently using is just the Zakum one, and ideally most players would like to use the black bean mark. And unfortunately for me, it's been about 4 weeks now and I haven't seen a black bean mark. So I'm gonna go for the Sweetwater monocle. I would get a monocle about once a week, thanks to all the solo voyages and CPQ. So it's not too bad. It is a little bit annoying to do all these Commercy voyages, but like I said, this is just a consistent piece of gear that I can get. I usually wouldn't get this unless I had a PAP mark ready to transpose, but as of right now, I don't even have a black bean mark, and I would really like a damage gear item that I can put in this spot. It's going to be probably the only Sweetwater item I'll be going for, because for the tattoo, I am getting carried Hard Lucid and Hard Will, so there's a real chance that I do get Twilight marks. And for the pendant, of course, I'll be using the Dominator pendant for quite a while, and when I do get the item, I'll be using a superior pendant as well. So I'll be avoiding the Sweetwater pendant if possible. All in all, Commercy wasn't too bad to start off. It's just a little bit annoying that I do have to spend maybe 15 minutes each day doing the solo voyages and CPQ, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run. We do get a lot of monocles from it, and the monocle is still a very solid item for us. And of course, I have to give you guys an update on Golix. So far, I've been trying to solo it every day, and I'm currently at 520 coins. We're trying to get to 700 so then we can buy our first piece. I would like to either get the ring or the pendant. Both of those are about as good as each other, I think. I am leaning a little bit more towards the superior Golix pendant, mostly because the rings, I might be able to get event rings in the future. And the current rings I have are probably okay, but my alternative damage pendant is probably just going to be a Mechanator pendant, and I think the superior one is going to be a lot better. So once we get 700 coins, I'll be buying the pendant, and hopefully by the time that we have enough coins to buy the ring, we'll be able to get an earring drop from Golix. That way we'll be able to get our full set completed. So it is currently Sunday today, and that means that today we have our 30% off Starforcing event. We have a lot of items that can be upgraded today, and hopefully we'll be able to make some good amount of gains on this character so far. As of right now, I'm pretty happy with the damage of this Wild Hunter because I actually did run Hard Wheel not too long ago. I ran it with my usual duo, this time on his Demon Slayer, and I was able to pretty comfortably get green. I think this is due to the fact that I did unlock my 6th job, which has helped quite a lot. And now I'm just basically trying to make as many gains as possible to be able to contribute to Hard V Healer and then start to perhaps even do my Liberation from there. Going into this event, I have about 19 bills saved up, and on top of that, my current combat power is sitting at roughly 13 million. We have a lot of items that we want to work through, and I'll take you guys on the journey with me, and I'll kind of talk about the thought process and how I'm going to approach my Starforcing. At the end of the day, I am just hoping to kind of get lucky with my Starforcing anyway, so we'll just see how we go. To start off, I want to go for some relatively easy and sort of safe stars, and those are going to be my CRA pieces. These are currently all 3 at 20, and hopefully these will be able to get to 21. I am a little bit nervous going for each of these because I don't actually have too many spares of each of the items. I think I have about 6 spares of each, maybe even 7, but for the most part, we're just hoping to get lucky here, and if it blows up, it's a little bit scary. I don't know if I have the spares to recover the stars, but I don't really have too many other items that I can go for that will give us pretty easy gains, I think. So hopefully we'll get these to 21 one at a time. There's about an 80% chance to get it from 20 to 21 without it blowing up, so we're just really hoping we hit that percentage for each of the items. And there we go. Okay, we managed to get each of them to 21. Somehow pretty cheap. The hat and the top actually went on the first try, which is amazing. And then the bottom failed once and hit on the second try. Again, it is a 80% chance, so I'm very happy that they went quickly. I was kind of expecting a few more fails and maybe even a boom, but I'm glad that these are now done and I don't have to worry about my CRA pieces pretty much ever again. I don't plan on pushing for 22s anytime soon, so these 21s are absolutely perfect for my character. Ideally, I would also like to do the same for the belt, but I actually don't have a spare for a superior belt, so this is out of the question for the time being. And now we are moving on to some other cheap gains. I want to be able to push some new damage gear. From Will, my friend actually allowed me to take the Twilight Mark that dropped, so I would like to try to get this to 17 today, or at least 16. And similarly, I do have this Dom Pendant that dropped not too long ago. I would like to try to get this to 16 as well. I think I'll just leave it at 16 for the time being for both of these items because we do have a 5, 10, 15 coming up and I'll be able to get it to 17 relatively cheap. I think 16 for now, just so then we can get the value star from 15 to 16 to get a little bit of extra attack will be worthwhile. But pushing to 17 safeguarded, even though it is a 30% off, might be a bit expensive. So let's try to get both of these to 16 and see how much that costs us. And there we go, we got both our Twilight Mark and our Dom Pendant to 16 stars. Again, I'll just leave them at that for the time being. I'll just need to give them a better potential. Both of them are barely giving anything. My Twilight Mark doesn't even have a potential at the moment. We have the extra attack from the 16 star, which is perfectly fine, and then perhaps on the next event, the 5, 10, 15, I'll push the Twilight Mark, the Dom Pendant, and perhaps even the Carnage Treasure towards 17, and maybe further, but for the time being, the safeguarding cost is still pretty expensive because we have to pay both the 15 and 16 stars. This might cost a lot trying to get it to 17. Now the next items I have some issues with because I'm currently very much spares gated. I don't have any arcane gear that I can work on, and most of the gear that I'm hoping for are just kind of gated by coins, including things like Golix. I'm obviously hoping for the pendant or the coin to come by, but I need to pay for those. And for the rest of the items, I am just waiting for drops. So for the time being, what I'm going to try to do is try to get my earring to 21 star. I mentioned earlier in the video, if I can get a reinforced earring to 21, I can wait for my earring drop and then transfer it onto it, much like I did for the belt here, and just leave it at 20. That way I can get a lot of extra stars and be able to potentially utilize the Superior Golix set. Unfortunately, I only have 3 spares here of the reinforced earrings, so we're just going to have to see how it goes. I won't be safeguarding these, of course, because they are just fodders. We have 3 total. Hopefully one of them makes it to 21. And there we go, all 3 of our earrings have blown up here. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to get to 21. One of them actually managed to streak all the way to 20, and it blew up the first try from 20 to 21, which is pretty close, but unfortunately we didn't get that easy 21 star there. So again, we just kind of have to wait for more spares here. I do have a lot of belt spares and not a lot of earring spares, unfortunately. For the time being though, I'm pretty happy with just the 21 CRAs. Now, I'm kind of in a weird spot for my Wild Hunter because none of these items are realistically able to be pushed. I don't really want to push a Absolab item directly because I don't have any spares. I have kind of a backup plan for what I can use my money on. I really want to try to get some stars here on this 30% off event, and I really want to try to get to Hard Healer, and I've barely made any progress on stars. I've got a new damage pendant, I suppose, and a new Twilight Mark, but this isn't going to be enough to bridge the gap to V Healer. I need more stars, and the only ways that I can think of right now are to fodder into these Absolab gears. Ideally, I would like to go into Arcanes, but again, I am waiting for drops, and I am still waiting on the droplets here. I haven't run a Lucid this week yet. I shouldn't really assume that I'm going to get a drop or anything. Same with Will, I've already ran this week, so I do need to wait a whole week to be able to get a shoulder. And even then, I don't even really know if I want to buy a shoulder with the Will droplets. I think I would rather save for an arcane weapon on this character. So I am really stuck on what items I can even push. Because I kind of know that I won't be replacing the shoulder with an arcane shoulder anytime soon, I kind of want to try to get some more stars on it. And I will have to take the same approach that I did on my Xenon. For my Xenon, I did a split of arcane gear and Absolab gear. And the way that I improved my Absol gear was just to buy these fodders from the CRA shop. You can see here, they do sell 150 shoes and 150 shoulders. So I'll try to use some of these, I suppose. I don't think that this is going to be ideal for me, but I think this would be the easiest way for me to make some gains. I'm going to buy a couple of these and see if I can get any of them to 21. I'll probably just have to buy them one at a time, just so then on the off chance it does go to 21, I'll be able to buy the shoes and do the same thing. But right now, I am really lacking on items that can gain Starforce, and that is my easiest gain at the moment. I don't really want to spend too much money trying to cube things to Legendary, for example, because a lot of the gear is replaceable. I am also really lacking on damage accessories, which I need to compensate with some major gains like Starforcing. So I think for now, I will just buy a few of these shoulders and shoes and see how they go. I do have about 16.5 billion, which is quite a lot going into this event, and I'm completely out of things to Starforce. So yeah, we'll just see how we go and see if we can get some Absolab gears to 20 star. I'll just get the fodder to 21 and transfer it across. I won't be tapping any of my Absol gear because I really don't want to do more scrapyard if I can help it, for example. I will lose the potential out on these items, but I think that's fine. None of them are anything special. They're just 2 lines that unique, so these will be very easy to fix. Our shoulder did just blow up, but I also realized I had this spare Zakum cape. And the Zakum cape does basically the same thing as the shoulder because we can fodder this into our Absol cape as well. So before I buy any more shoulders or anything like that, I'll go ahead and see if I can get this cape to 21. Alright, with the cape out of the way, let's go ahead and see if we can get some more shoulder spares. I'll probably have to buy them one at a time, which is a little bit annoying. But on the off chance that we do manage to get this to 21, I would like to have some coins to buy some shoes. Because I think the shoes and the shoulders are worth the same amount from the CRA shop. Just gonna make sure that we have enough to buy some spares after, if any of them make it, of course. At the moment, we've blown up quite a few items, so that's kind of to be expected out of a 30% off. I didn't really go into this event expecting to make too many gains, but I was expecting to see some fireworks. So we'll just have to do this one at a time, which is a little bit annoying because I don't actually have that many coins. I do want to try to be conservative with these coins. Alright, let's try again with a new shoulder. And there we go, our shoulder actually streaked from 15 all the way to 21, which is a bit of a relief. We were starting to see a little bit too many booms. I'm glad that at least one of the items that we got managed to make it to 21. And with this, I'll be able to transfer it over onto our Abso shoulder. A bit of a shame that we do lose this unique potential line, but that's okay. The amount of gains that we get from just the stars alone will make up for it. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and buy the shoes from the CRA shop and then attempt the same thing. And unfortunately, none of the shoes managed to make it to 21. One of them did make it to 20, which was kind of nice, but it blew up first try from 20 to 21 like we saw. And this is the problem that I'm kind of worried about when it came to this Wild Hunter, is that I didn't really have that many spares. This character hasn't been around for very long, so obviously I'm not going to be able to get too many spares of a lot of these items. And because of that, my progress is mostly time gated. Ideally, I would like to try to push some more stars, but as you guys can see, I only have one Dom Pendant and one Twilight Mark and a bunch of random Absolabs. I think if I really wanted to make some progress, I might have to Starforce to 17, but I really do not want to Starforce to 17, mostly because the safeguarding cost is quite expensive. So unfortunately on this event, with 10 build to spare, I don't feel confident trying to push any random stars. I'm gonna have to cut my losses here. Unfortunately, did not manage to hit any extra stars outside of the CRA and this shoulder piece. We're gonna have to just upgrade the items that we just recently got. I have to get a new potential again on this shoulder because I folded it. We'll just see how much damage we gained. I'm not expecting anything too much, but these are still stars that we didn't have originally, and they will add up across all these different items. So I'll spend a little bit of money trying to get these to proper potentials and see what our final combat power is for this part. I spent a little bit of money on some cubes and we managed to get the Twilight Mark to unique here with 9 and 6%. We managed to fix our Dom Pendant to some extent, going from 6 all stat to 15% dex here, and our shoulder is currently sitting at 14% dex as well. So I think I'll just leave those for the time being because pushing these additional stats might be a little bit expensive, and I kind of want to save off for other things, whether it be on this Wild Hunter or on other characters at the moment. So I'll probably just leave it at that. And I will equip these items here on my damage gear preset. And I believe we started on about 13 mil combat power. And since then we've gained 3 stars here across our CRA pieces. We gained about 4 stars here on the shoulder, which is pretty huge actually. We also managed to get a new Twilight Mark and a Dominate Pendant all set up as well. So from 13 mil we have increased all the way to 15.5. Pretty reasonable amount of gains, 2.5 mil combat power. I would have liked to see a few more stars, but unfortunately we are just straight up spares gated. I have a decent amount of money to try to go for some more stars, but we just don't have the spares for it. Our earrings were very close, we got to 20 once or twice. Same thing with our shoes, but unfortunately they did blow up 20 to 21. We missed out on a decent amount of damage there, but there's not much we can do about that. I quickly went ahead and did some dailies, and I managed to actually get a shoe and a cape drop from Ranmaru. I kind of regret not actually saving a little bit more of my money. I did actually go ahead and spend on like you guys saw my cubes, and also I actually spent a little bit on my mechanic as well. So I am down a little bit of money here. I've got about 6 bill left over here for our Starforcing. I am not really expecting too much from this, because I think 6 bill is not a lot of money to work with. But these are both the items I was trying to get to 21 anyway, so here's hoping that at least one of them go to 21. I'm not really expecting too much, so we'll see what happens. And there we go, on our last possible photo of today, we did manage to get a 21 star cape. Pretty amazing game for us. This was looking a little bit kind of rough in the sense that I just didn't have anything to make any upgrades on, but this is a fantastic game for us. Now, this Wild Hunter is really starting to pick up some steam. These are an extra 4 stars for the cape here as well. And as you guys can see, it gives me at least 300k range. And this is without a potential as well. I am losing 14% stat here, so the fact that I'm up this much is huge. Now I think to round things up, let's see how far this shoe can go. I think now with all the gains I've made across all these items, I'm pretty happy with where I am. I'm not expecting this to go, but if it does go, we are so far ahead on this particular event. Started off quite rough, blowing up a lot of items. I did have to go ahead and upgrade my Absols, which I kind of hoped to not have to do, but these are sort of the gains that we had to go for to be able to push for hard V-Healer. So let's see how these shoes go. Worst case scenario, it blows up and then we just spend some money trying to fix this cape to try to give it a proper potential. Otherwise, who knows, maybe we walk out of here with additional stars on the shoes as well. Holy, even our final shoe, that is crazy. Our final shoe also made it to 21 stars as well. This basically puts 3 sets of our Absols on 20 stars, which is insane. It's in a very similar situation to how I tried to set up my Xenon. The only difference is my Xenon had a lot more Abso spares to play with, so I could try for 21 Absols. But for the time being, I can't risk going for 21. But 20 stars across 3 different items is insane. I will probably not do any upgrades on these past the potential. I think I'll just leave them at 20 stars. We'll just see how far this character can go. If I do eventually get a lot of Absol fodders, I might consider pushing these to 21, but for the time being, these extra stars are amazing. And I even have 3.5 build to play with to try to fix these potentials, and that is what I'm going to go ahead and do, see if we can get anything good out of this. I'll probably settle on 2 lines of unique like I did for this shoulder, but man guys, what a great way to wrap off this event. Started off kind of sad with a lot of booms. We blew up so many items, but this has really offset the losses we had. We'll take the wins where we can. And there we go guys, I think that is enough for the cubing. We managed to hit 2 lines, actually legendary on these shoes. I think the rest of the items were staying at unique 2 line. You can see here it's 14% on dex. My gloves are at 17. I didn't touch these during this event, of course, because I'm hoping to replace these with arcanes to be able to get the 2 set with the arcane weapon. So unfortunately, we can't really do much about these, but I'm pretty happy just leaving these. Just seeing the rest of the gains that we've made, both the shoulder and the cape are currently now at 14. I did try a little bit more on some of these items, but I didn't get any more gains on the Dom Pendant or the Twilight Mark, but that is absolutely fine. And there we go guys, that is enough for the upgrades for today. Let's have a quick look at our combat power. We are sitting at now 17 mil combat power. Wow, we went and gained quite a lot of extra damage from the last couple of items that we got to 20 thanks to the cape and then the shoes. This legendary shoe potential is quite a lot better than the rest of them. Maybe in the future I might consider pushing the cape and the shoulders to legendary as well, but I think for now I'll just keep them as they are. Now we are just kind of at the point where we're trying to fill out the rest of our items. I am hoping to try to get some more reinforced earrings. Unfortunately, like I said, we blew up all of the ones that we had in our inventory. Would have loved to see one get to 21, but that is how it is when it comes to Starforcing. So we are just going to be waiting for our superior and reinforced earring drops to replace this Will-O-Wisp earring. As for the second pendant, we're hoping for a superior pendant. I actually did my Golix run earlier, and now we are sitting at 610 coins. Will take us about another week or so to be able to get that piece. So hopefully that'll be a decent amount of gains. And as for the rings, I really don't know what I want to do for the rings. There's not that many items that I can get that can be a good upgrade. I am holding off on it because there is a chance we get event rings sometimes in the future, and eventually, of course, we would want to try to get the superior ring as well. But like I said, there's not many options for me. I could go for a Meister ring, which is about as good as this Kindness treasure, but that does involve me getting to Meister accessory crafting, which is something I am far too lazy to go for again for the time being. But overall though, quite a lot of damage increase. We went from about 13 mil all the way to 17 here, and I don't know if this is enough to do hard V healer, but this is definitely a good amount of damage increase that would help us a lot. I might be able to sneak by with a 4% in a long-ish run, but I'm not holding my breath on anything here. I'm just happy that we made reasonable amount of gains with the very limited resources that we had. I think overall we spent about 15 bill on this character. I did spend a little bit on others, but I'm so happy with what we got here. So happy.